Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a really fascinating deep dive of the texts from the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. First, we'll briefly go over Dr. Susan Edwards' core essay on the profound power of stories, and then we're going to transition right into their Theme 3 essay on exactly how those stories are told. So if you've ever wondered why we, as human beings, are universally obsessed with a good narrative, well, you are in the exact right place. Let's get to it.
Okay, let's kick things off and anchor this whole explainer with an incredible quote from Lisa Cron. She says, "Story, it turns out, was crucial to our evolution, more so than opposable thumbs. Opposable thumbs let us hang on. Story told us what to hang on to." Wow, right? I mean, this completely flips the script. Storytelling isn't just some cheap entertainment or a way to kill time. It is actually the ultimate evolutionary survival tool. From the earliest creation myths to ancient flood narratives, stories are what helped our ancestors literally make sense of a totally chaotic world and build a shared reality.
Section 1. Wiring the Brain. Mental Effects.
Now, to really grasp this, we need to look at the hard science. Like, what's actually going on inside our heads when we're completely engrossed in a good book or movie? Well, Dr. Pamela Rutledge points out that stories temporarily transport us into another world. And doing that actually builds deep empathy and makes us feel way less lonely, because we are literally taking on the perspectives of the characters. Plus, Jonathan Gottschall notes that getting lost in a story takes us to this magical place of imagination that triggers an actual dopamine release in the brain. It enhances learning and it boosts our motivation. We are, quite literally, biologically hardwired to crave a narrative. And check this out, because this brilliantly illustrates the sheer physiological power of stories. It's not just a mental or emotional boost, it's a physical one. Experts over at the Yale University School of Public Health studied the impact of reading and found this staggering statistic. Being a bookworm actually increases your longevity by up to 23%. I know, wild, right? So hey, the next time someone tells you to put down that novel and get back to the real world, you can just tell them, actually, I'm actively working on my life expectancy. But here's the catch. To get all those amazing cognitive and health benefits, the story has to be crafted well. Let's look at how intentional and structured great emotional storytelling actually has to be. Take Pixar's 6 rules, for example. They say great stories must be universal, they need a clear structure and purpose, they've got to feature a character, usually an underdog that we can root for, they appeal to our deepest emotions, they're surprising and unexpected, and they stay simple and focused. Think about Harry Potter or a classic Steven Spielberg film. They all follow this exact architectural blueprint to make us laugh, cry, and cheer, all at the exact same time. Section 2. Ways stories are told, mediums, and messages. So shifting gears from the overarching theory in the core essay right into our historical analysis in the Theme 3 essay, we hit this fundamental question. What is it about being human that leads us to story as a way of communicating? Like, we know it's good for our brains and bodies now, but historically, humans have felt this undeniable, almost physical urge to create these narratives and to leave their mark on the world long before written language was even formalized. Section 3. Cave Walls to Manga, an Unbroken Thread. You can see this unbroken thread of human expression so clearly when you look back at history. Just look at this cross-cultural timeline. Nearly 40,000 years ago, folks in an Indonesian cave were stenciling their hands onto rock walls, which honestly eerily resembles modern street graffiti. Then, 30,000 years ago in Western Libya, we see rock art depicting a ritual we still totally recognize today, washing a bride's hair. Jump forward to the 12th and 13th centuries, and you've got the Japanese hand scroll, The Tale of the Monkeys, complete with actual speech bubbles. This literally laid the foundation for manga. It's completely fascinating, isn't it? People separated by vast oceans and thousands of years, all feeling the exact same compulsion to share their human experience. And today, that tradition is absolutely still going strong through some incredibly diverse mediums. On one side, the formats are totally boundless, but on the other, the core, universally human messages remain exactly the same. We see it whether it's Pink singing about her marriage, Jay-Z mastering the rap narrative, Taylor Swift taking fans through her eras, or the escapist tunes of Jimmy Buffett. We see it when Joel Sartore captures the vital stories of insects through his photography. We even see it in the rich, physical quilts made by the women of Gee's Bend in Alabama, and in the dynamic movements of ballerina Misty Copeland. The medium constantly evolves. And sure, it breaks structural rules along the way. But that core, universal human message, it remains beautifully intact. Section 4. Story Structure. Universal Frameworks. Okay, now that we've seen the boundless ways stories are expressed, let's zoom in a bit on the strict academic frameworks that actually govern the science of story. We're starting way back with the ancient Greeks.
Aristotle, in his work Poetics, observed that we communicate powerfully through this concept called mimesis. Essentially, mimesis is the imitation of life in a way that sparks the imagination, creating a sort of co-creation with the audience. He argued that all stories share these foundational elements, a beginning, a middle, and end. Plus, they evoke pity, fear, and ultimately catharsis. Aristotle realized way back then that a story is always an active partnership between the teller and the audience.
Fast forward to the 20th century, and we see how those ancient ideas evolved into what's known as structuralism. Russian philologist Vladimir Propp analyzed old folktales and actually identified over 30 specific plot functions that characters served. He established this incredibly strict narrative structure common to all those tales. And this was a massive game changer. It blew the doors open for sociologists like Claude Lévi-Strauss, who realized and argued that all cultural interactions are built on these exact same common structures. Basically, all of culture is just a form of narrative.
And of course, we absolutely cannot talk about story structure without bringing up Joseph Campbell. He examined the world's myths and identified the monomyth, the fundamental story of the hero, structure that is shared across wildly diverse world cultures. The phrasing might change, the hero might wear different clothes, but at its core, humanity is just endlessly repeating and remixing this exact same hero's journey. It's quite literally built right into our cultural DNA. So, what do we do with all this? How do we use these seemingly rigid academic frameworks? Well, we can apply them dynamically to understand basically any story. Step 1, observe a cultural myth, a tale, or honestly, even just a modern movie. Step 2, identify those underlying structural functions. Look for Propp's plot points or Campbell's hero stages. And finally, step 3, recognize the shared human experience within that narrative. By doing this, we strip away all the surface-level cultural differences and instantly connect with the shared human heart beating underneath it all. Section 5. Shape your narrative daily communication. Because here's the thing, these macro theories aren't just for academics sitting in an ivory tower. They're playing out in your daily life, right now. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder. How might understanding these universal story structures inform how we relate to one another, or how we build a blended family, or even how we share our vacation photos on social media? Whether you're navigating a super complex family dynamic or just posting a quick update online, you are stepping right into the shoes of those ancient cave painters. You are using structure, emotion, and mimesis. You are shaping a narrative to connect, to survive, and to thrive. So go out there and recognize the immense power of the stories you're telling every single day.